What is up, guys? TG back with another video, and this is going to be part 1 of an 8-part series. The second and maybe third, I'm not too sure about that though, will be out before the finale of the 100, but the rest will be after. But they will 100% come out if this video does well. If you're a fan of the show, I'd still recommend watching, even though most of this will come out after the show ends. This series will be a chronological timeline of the show. This part will be going over the pre-season 1 events, some learned through flashbacks and others that are just mentioned. Just so I don't take full credit, I got a lot of info from the 100 Wikipedia. They have a broad timeline that I used as an outline. From there, I added in a lot more info and took some things out that I found unimportant. These videos do take a while to make, so please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy it so I know you want the rest of this series. The very first thing that happens is all the way back in the late 1800s when the National Weather Bureau acquires a facility near Bluemont, Virginia, about 40 miles from Washington, D.C., and names it Mount Weather. After World War II, in 1959, the Army constructs an underground bunker and it becomes an emergency operations center. We have our first named character birth on October 10th, 1987, when Bill Cadigan is born to a poor family in the middle of a tobacco field. His dad beat him every day, and he hated his poor home life. His first job was flipping burgers at a young age, and he always dreamed of becoming something more, which one day he would. The next set of births come in the 2000s when Diosa, Paxton McCreary, Michael Vincent, Russell Lightbourne, and Simon Lightbourne are born. In the 2010s, we see Nikki, Hatch, Pride Desai, and Grace Cadigan born. In the 2020s, Josephine Lightbourne, Chris, Gabriel Santiago, and Miles Shaw are born. Becca is also born in this time in the year 2025. She was a genius child and would attend Harvard University in 2035 at the age of 10. Around 2030, Riker and Reese Cadigan are born, and in 2034, Reese's sister Callie Cadigan is born. In the 2040s, Daniel and Kaylee Lee are born, and at some point around here, Bill Cadigan started the Second Dawn cult, preparing for the end of the world. At one point, Bill takes a trip to Machu Picchu in Peru. In a secret observatory, he discovers the anomaly stone and brings it back to the United States. Followers of the cult have to advance through 12 levels, and according to Bill, only those who reach level 12 can achieve salvation. It is also known that at some point, his wife Grace and daughter Callie leave the cult. His son Reese does stay behind with them. In the year 2041, we discussed Diosa a little bit more. At some point in her life, she was a colonel in the U.S. military and a member of the Navy SEALs. After an explosion, she goes AWOL, but later returns as the leader of a terrorist group known as the United Liberation Army. On July 4th of this year, they launched an attack that kills 80 civilians. In 2042, an article about the Second Dawn cult is released. It states that only the wealthy can ever reach level 12 because it cost over $12 million to reach it. It is believed that only celebs, entrepreneurs, and the elites of society can afford to reach it. On August 12, 2042, the United Liberation Army commits a suicide bombing in Washington, D.C., killing 19, and Diosa becomes the world's most wanted person. A year later, on December 5th, 2043, Diosa is caught and arrested. Around this time, dust storms and oil droughts are becoming a worse and worse problem on Earth, and many others are also arrested. Paxton McCreary is arrested as a mob enforcer and a mass murderer, Michael Vincent as a serial killer and a cannibal, Nikki and Hatch for bank robbery and mass murder. They were all sent on the Allegius 4 ship to do hard labor on the asteroid mining colony. Becca Franco also starts working for the Allegius Corporation around this time. She creates Nightblood serum and memory drives for the Allegius 3 mission, which launches this year. The mission plan is to go to 5 distant planets to see if any are habitable because of the dying planet. There are 5 teams, one for each planet. In 2045, Allegius 3 drops the first team off at Planet Alpha. Notable members include the Lightbournes, Gabriel Santiago, and the other Prime families, the Lees, the Masons, and the Desais. 21 days in, Josephine Lightbourne renames the planet Sanctum, and the first eclipse happens. During this eclipse, Russell is affected by the toxins, killing Simon, Josephine, the Desais, and many others. Afterwards, him and Gabriel begin research on how they can bring them back using mind drives. Soon after, Allegius 3 sends Team 2 down to planet Beta, aka Skyring, but the dropship crashes onto the planet and only Colin Benson survives. He eventually finds the anomaly stone and spends his life studying it. He does eventually find the code to open the bridge before dying. On April 4th, 2047, the prisoners of Allegius 4 report feeling sick. Allegius orders to abandon the prisoners on the asteroid and return with only the crew. The ship captain agreed, but employee Miles Shaw did not. Shaw helped Diosa and the other prisoners take over the ship in return for his life. Shaw deactivates the shock collars on the prisoners and they take over the ship, killing everyone in the crew except for Shaw. They set Allegius for to return to Earth, but because of a broken engine, it is going to take much longer. Instead of just a few years, it is going to take a few decades. Because of this, they put themselves into cryosleep for their journey back. In 2050, Bill Cadigan sells the Second Dawn's real estate, generating tens of millions of dollars. He doesn't include selling his childhood home in this though, and underneath in the basement, he expands on a bunker that his father started years before. Many members of the cult below level 12 thought that this was the real Doomsday Bunker. In 2051, Becca is 26 and finds a pathway to access the human mind. Her and her assistant Chris begin working on an AI named Allie. In 2051, Allie chooses Becca as her avatar and confirms her answer to what is wrong with the world is too many people. Because of this, Becca has to lock her up. After that, Becca goes up into space on a ship named Polaris, and up there, Becca works on Allie 2.0. She thought Allie 1 failed because it didn't know what it meant to be human, so instead of making a full independent AI, Becca designs Allie 2.0 to biologically blend with the human mind. On May 10, 2052, while working, Becca and her lab assistant Perry get a call from Chris. He informs them that Allie 1 got out and the poison virus to kill it didn't work. Chris was locked out of everything and Allie was hacking the nuclear launch codes all over Earth to solve the problem of overpopulation. There was no stopping it now, so Becca orders Chris to go to a lighthouse bunker for shelter. In the shelter, Chris makes a video about what happened and commits suicide. Becca watches from Polaris as Earth is destroyed by nuclear missiles. We also get an Earth perspective of this event. Callie Cadigan is with a friend when her and Grace get a call from Bill. He warns them that the end is here and they must go to the bunker. Grace stabs Callie's friend with a needle and puts her to sleep. She can't go because she is not a level 12. Grace and Callie fly in a helicopter over to the real bunker, which is not located in his childhood home, but actually in Baltimore. They get in, and even though there is room, no one below level 12 is allowed in. 92% of the level 12s make it into the bunker, where they stay as missiles land on Earth and kill everyone outside. At this time, there's also many that were below level 12 at Cadigan's childhood home thinking it was the real bunker that perished during this event. Throughout the next 2 years, Bill spends his time studying the anomaly stone that he took into the bunker. On October 11, 2054, the 12 independent space stations come together and unite as the Ark. Polaris is the 13th one, and they need to join or they will get blown out of the sky. Perry tells Polaris commander Cole McAdams about Allie 2.0 because she fears it could be dangerous to those on the Ark who are believed to be the last of the human race. Cole orders Becca to destroy it, but she doesn't and instead puts the Allie 2.0 chip in herself along with the Nightblood serum. She takes off in an escape pod, and as she does, the Ark blows up Polaris for not joining the rest of the Ark, killing Cole and Perry. Becca lands near the Second Dawn bunker and is brought inside. Once they are in, Tristan seizes from radiation poisoning, but Becca saves him using Nightblood, which only Callie Cadigan sees. When Becca enters Bill's room, she hears ringing noises from the anomaly stone. Allie 2.0, or the Flame, gives her heightened senses, which lets her hear the stone and put the code in to open up the bridge. Bill is very interested and wants to go in, but Becca wants to make sure it's survivable on the other side first. She wants to inject all the bunker residents with Nightblood in the meantime for radiation resistance so they can go outside, but Bill says no. Not too long later, Becca finds symbols that don't give off a sound. When she enters them into the stone, she has a scary vision, which she calls Judgment Day, which is the real end of the human race. Bill wants the code, but Becca does not give it to him and is locked up. It is discovered that the only way to get the flame out of a host is by the secret phrase or by burning. Bill and his followers give her time, but she won't tell them. She does, however, tell Callie, who she does have trust in. She also tells her how to find the next host and that they need to be in Nightblood. Reese Cadigan then burns Becca at the stake to get the flame, and Callie starts giving those who want to follow her and leave Nightblood. When Reese returns, Callie challenges him to a one-on-one wrestling match. Winner gets the flame. Reese agrees, but when the match starts, Callie pulls out a gun and shoots him in the shoulder. She takes the flame and injects Reese with Nightblood. Then Callie and those people that are loyal to her escape the bunker to the outdoors with the help of Grace. Reese and Tristan both go after them to try and capture them since they have Nightblood and can go outside. Bill banishes Grace due to her betrayal, but she does put on a radiation suit and go out. Callie and her followers will go on to become the Grounders. Bill and those loyal to him pass through the bridge and into Bardo, becoming the Disciples. In the year 2070, 25 years after experiments, Russell and Gabriel successfully bring back Josephine. They need a host with a fully developed brain that has Nightblood and the mind drive of the person they are bringing back. After bringing back Josephine, they bring back the others that Russell killed, and this begins the Prime Gods tradition. The 4 Prime families are the Lightborns, the Masons, the Lees, and the Desais. Also around this time, the radiation shield is built on Sanctum. In 2086, we get the birth of Dante Wallace in Mount Weather. 7 years later, in 2093, his father, who was president at the time, sees grounders outside. He believes this means Earth is survivable again, and they open the doors. 54 people at Mount Weather die, including Dante's mom and sister. They shut the doors and soon after start experimenting on the grounders. In the next years, we see a bunch of people born. 2102 is Jaha, 2107 is Cain, 2109 Abby, 2126 Bellamy, 2128 Lexa, 2130 Raven, 2131 Clark, and 2132 Octavia, among others. Sometime in the 2130s, Queen Naya of Ice Nation orders the original Echo to kill her best friend Ash. She hesitates and fails, and Ash ends up killing Echo. Ash then takes Echo's name, and she is the one we know today. In 2144, Maddie is born off-screen in Shadow Valley, and in 2147, Prince Roan is banished by his mom, Queen Naya, and Lexa. This is a part of a deal to allow Ice Nation to join the coalition of Grounder clans. Sometime in 2148, the Ark life support is showing signs of failure because of limited oxygen. Clark overhears a conversation between her parents, Abby and Jake Griffin, discussing the situation. Jake wants to go public with it, and Abby does not. Later that day, Clark tells her best friend Wells and son to Chancellor Jaha about this problem. Clark trusts that Wells won't say anything to his dad, Chancellor Jaha, because that could put Jake in huge danger. Clark later walks in on her dad making the announcement video, planning to go public with the news of the life support failure. While arguing with him and wanting to help him, Ark guards storm in and arrest Jake. He is later floated for treason, and Clark is arrested as a juvenile. She believes Wells betrayed her trust and told Jaha, when in reality it was her mom, Abby, that did. It's around this time we see Octavia arrested for being a second child, Finn for his illegal spacewalk, which actually Raven did, Murphy for setting a fire to a guard's headquarters, and the rest of the 100. In 2149, the 100 receive Earth Skill Survival training from Charles Pike. This training is done because they are planning to send the 100 juvenile prisoners to the ground. This is because they need to know if Earth is survivable again due to the lack of oxygen on the Ark that Jake discovered. Eventually, Ark Commander Shumway tells Bellamy Blake of the plan to send the juveniles, including his sister Octavia, to the ground. He offers Bellamy a spot on the ship in return for killing Jaha. On September 9th, 2149, Bellamy shoots Chancellor Jaha, and Commander Shumway lets him on board, and the 100 are sent down, leading to Season 1. And that is it for the pre-show events. Like I said, guys, these videos do take a while to make, so if you want the other 7, please show support by liking and subscribing. If this does well, I will try to have Episode 2 going over Season 1 up in a few days. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.